Repeat practice. Just let us do it for 10-15 minutes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes and understand the repeat practice comes from the discerning intellect that changes our behavior and attitude, that changes our attitude, behavior, and conduct. It can act on prarabdha, and that is what we are. That is what we are doing. So eyes are closed and of being aware of the place, position in the body. Place, position in the body. Again, you see that it is self-awareness. It is self-awareness. It is you notice. What do you notice? You notice the place and position and posture. You notice place, position, and posture, plus the sensation, plus the resistance, if there is any. Resistance, if there is any. So, register is, if you notice resistance, so what is that resistance? Pay attention. You can easily understand. We have done lots of resistance means, oh, it is prarabdha, you are showing it. But I notice, I am self-aware of the resistance and maintain place, position, and posture. So, what is happening? Understanding is required, nothing more than that, even during the practice. So, you maintain place, position, and posture in spite of resistance, and after a few days of practice, resistance becomes a response. How long it will take, I cannot say, you cannot say. So, what is our commitment? Our commitment is to practice. Commitment is to practice. Sincerity. When? All the time, anytime, anywhere. That is what we have done it. So that is, I'm explaining so that you can have a clear understanding. Why clear understanding? Cognitive change. We want a cognitive change in our life. So that is the explanation of the first step, and then being comfortable. We have done many a times. Comfortable is change of direction. So who notices that? Who notices change of direction? It is the discerning intellect. It is the discerning intellect who notices that. So when you notice means what? Mind is looking within, inside, not outside. Not outside means not scattered. That needs to be clearly understood. The greater the clear understanding, and you have a success all the time. So you said in the beginning, sometime I find disturbances. What is that disturbances? What the disturbances means? Mind is lacking discerning intellect. it is running with default mind. Simple. You simply notice, recall, remember, and then see what happens. And the same thing being carefree. So, in being carefree, we separate the observer from the observed. I would say that we do not separate, we notice. We notice if observer and observed, I told you before also, observed are already separate. Are there, the observed do not become subject. Why? It becomes Vishaya, the poisonous object. You are not in a hurry, you are not in a pressure, you are not in a hurry, no pressure. You just, I can use the word watch, notice, and it will work. So that it will work. Why it is not happening all the time? Prarabdha. So how to deal with the, we are continuously practicing it. So now comes another pointer, is what we say the Mangalacharan in the mantra. Mantra, again, it is a thought with a clear direction and meaning, clear direction, meaning, and clarity to change. What to change? We change the default mind to the discerning intellect to a state of the mind inside. It may be you can say sama and dhamma together. We have already done 6 treasures. We have understood the basics. We will understand. So once we are clear, again you see, I said understanding, cognitive understanding. Now we use the mantra. So you look inside the forehead or the heart, wherever it is, you like. So why it is symbolic? Why it is symbolic? Symbolic. Why it is symbolic? The mind should look beyond the world outside. So that is one. Now when you see that Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu 3 times. So you are, why 3 times? You can do more times also, it depends on you. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. And now the meaning 3 times. May there be happiness for all. So you are aware that you are putting the thought, you are putting the mantra or a thought into the space of mind inside. That triggers not only the default mind, animal mind, but also prarabdha. And now comes the reflection. What is the reflection? You settle happiness is our essential nature. One. Second, it is within all of us. First point, happiness is our essential nature. Reflection, conclusion of reflection. Second, it is within all of us. Third, it is always with us. It is always with us. Then what prevents? Default mind. What default mind? It always looks outside. That is what you just told me. That is the point. What we need is cognitive understanding. Default mind looks outside, supported by prarabdha. Says no peace, only stress. What I am missing? Ask yourself. Is a cognitive understanding. Nothing more than that. Nothing less than that. Let us see another way. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. You are fully aware while saying the mantra Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Your mind is pointing to deep inside your head or heart, not outside. Not outside on any object, not on the bank account. That is where the mind easily slips. And it says, what will happen chanting the mantra? Can I get all the money back? It cannot be. The default mind raises the doubt and reason, which is totally illogical. But it does because of prarabdha. Understand. And then comes the cognitive understanding. Sarvesham Swashantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. 3 times you say it. Now the reflection part. Why default mind equating peace with some object outside? That object may be money, may be any possession, may be food. There is no comparison, no equation of peace and wealth. and possessions and relations. You reflect on it. When you reflect, the mind that causes the hesitation, do not return. We are going totally in a different way, but our focus is cognitive understanding, cognitive change, a change in attitude, behavior, and conduct, change in thought, speech, and action, then daily life, living a daily life with that thought, speech, and action which we desire, which we are seeking. I believe I am clear. I believe I am clear. Sarvesham Puranam Bhavatu. Now follow the simple process. Sarvesham Puranam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Puranam Bhavatu. Same process. Oh, may there be completeness in all. Hold on, mind. Default mind, where are you going? By the pressure of the prarabdha. Hold on, stay there. I'm complete in myself. Let me stay there within. You can say to your mind mentally, and yes, when you say it, you jumped into the reflection point, a sense of completeness, fulfillment. You know, the self-fulfillment versus desire fulfillment. In the past, you had earned a lot of money, lot of wealth. Where they have gone? No, I want a continuous stream. For example, of wealth. We are just okay. So by the birth, you chose to have that stream. No, by birth I did not. Later on, stream of wealth. Later on. So the world gave you an opportunity, and now challenges. Both are outside. What should I do? I should feel the sense of completeness within me and continue to work in peace, in the joy. My sense of completeness should not be covered. Sense of wholeness should not hide by my anxiety due to lack of something outside. Do you see, we want cognitive understanding. Entire Eastern wisdom is just to move from ignorance to knowledge. So you repeat it. Sometimes pressure of the prarabdha is too much. Pressure of the prarabdha is much more than my practice. So what should I do? What should I do? On that day, I should be sincere and committed to continue until I minimize the impact of pradartha. Then what happens? You already know. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be auspiciousness for all. May there be auspiciousness for all. May there be auspiciousness for all. So recheck happiness, first line of the mantra, peace, wholeness are there. Where? In the space inside. Then your auspiciousness will become easy. It is already there. May there be, or you can say blessing is there, or you can even say, oh, let the God, you bless me. You have been blessing me for so long. Why not you bless me? And check the state of the mind. The state of the mind, again I'm saying, it is the discerning intellect. Everything is clear. So you see this, you have a space awareness. In that space awareness, you just drop Om Shanti. So what to do and how? What to do and how? First, you be aware of the space. Why? The space is awareness and awareness is space. What are you saying? Just take it as it is. Awareness is space. So the moment you see, be aware of the space, and in that space, something moving or not? Not your problem. You see the space, you drop mantra Om Shanti with peace as infinite space. Then again you wait, you look within, find the space. In that space, other thoughts may be there, let it be. May be there, let them be. Let them be. After all, there is a space. There is a space where you can drop safely Shanti with where Om Shanti means I am the peace, I am the peace, as if you are infinite space. Finished. Continue. Just continue. Now you see, we did not add any emotional, we did not add anything which can take your mind to impulsive, emotional imagination. We did nothing. We did nothing which can take you to imagination, hallucination, or any vision. We are simply saying the space. Om Shanti, space, and Om Shanti. And now you have to see, every time you practice, you can extend the practice. Check how many times you can extend the practice. Longer period, the default mind will not follow prarabdha. It will follow discerning intellect, and you succeed. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your Buddha palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. How are you, sir?
Excellent.
Understanding. So sometimes this default mind runs after misunderstanding.
And other exercises like mala, it should only help with.
Yes, yes. If you do the mala with the same format, Om Shanti, you are checking resistance. Very good, thank you. Om Shanti. Resistance. Om Shanti. Resistance is gone. You don't fight with the resistance. Trigger would be there in the mind. So that mala practice will become the same practice. Yes, it is always good to do the mala practice all the time. So just remembering knowledge from the Eastern wisdom through a teacher. Why? Why? Because cognitive understanding. Teacher doesn't claim that this is my knowledge. So why should we have any problem in exchanging and passing on the knowledge to you? So that is, you see, that is why I created a chain. Eastern wisdom knowledge is always available. Teacher comes in between. Teacher expresses the same knowledge to the seeker. Why? Base personalizes. Why? Because of having a cognitive understanding. Cognitive means reasoning. We put the reasoning, cause and effect. You reason out. I reason out that the happiness is your essential nature. Why you are searching happiness outside in an object? No, I find happiness by this object. So let me see whether that object has a property of happiness. We are finding the cause and effect relationship. That is all. So with that cognitive understanding, but this cognitive understanding, we have to follow step by step. We cannot do everything in one go. Then you are confused. So we have to focus on what we are doing. So that cognitive understanding brings a cognitive change. So change where? Change in my attitude, in my behavior, in my conduct. My honey is not responsible for my stress or my peace or my happiness. Okay, are you sure? My honey is sitting before me. So there is a cognitive change if I have understood it. If the default mind is dictating, I have to repeat it. How simple. So, okay. So there now the honey is sitting before. Just a minute ago, I was reacting, but now there is no need to react. Why? There is a cognitive change. What is that change? Change in my attitude, behavior, and conduct. I am not now crazy after her or him. So there is a change in attitude, behavior, and conduct. That changes my thought, speech, and action. And with that changed thought, speech, and action, I live my personal life, professional life, social life, and family life. So, a lot of challenges will come in between. What are those challenges? That is why so you understood autopilot. Autopilot, default mind can return again. So I have to notice and I have to observe. I have also to notice the cognitive change. Just a minute ago, autopilot. Next moment, cognitive change, cognitive understanding. Minute. So we are not managing our anger, we are not managing our reaction, we are not fighting with them, we are not exerting the pressure, we are not changing. The cognitive understanding makes me realize anxiety is unfounded, has no reason. Why should it stay? That is Eastern wisdom. Modern psychology says manage your anxiety, manage your anger, manage your reaction. You continue to manage until you die. And after 6 months, you have a chronic anxiety, you have a chronic depression. Chronic means it is of a continuous nature. Oh, that is the management you are talking about? We are not going there. So we recognize that by default mind. Oh, default mind, you are the culprit. And default mind, you take support of the prarabdha. I understand now. So you understand. Now you have a cognitive understanding, you have recognized it. The next day you wake up in the morning, you feel heaviness in the head and what is happening in my life, nothing is good. Discerning intellect says, are you guided by prarabdha? Default mind has taken over you. Can you do the practice and change yourself? Abide in the essential nature of peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. So you are committed until you change your mind completely, until you are in peace and happiness. So it means you have exerted the pressure on the prarabdha and you have changed it, and now you start working. So someday it may take 10 minutes, other day it will take 15 minutes, third day it may take 1 hour. Let it take. Don't leave the house until you reach to that state. Commit yourself and you see what happens throughout the day. Now when you are doing it, so our Eastern wisdom again offers you another knowledge, another piece of the knowledge. Piece of the puzzle, it says that there are two core factors that create the default mind. Oh, now you're talking of how the default mind is created. Yes. Default mind is created by I-ness and my-ness. I am in anxiety. First find out who is this I who is telling you that you are in anxiety. Then we will take care of the anxiety. And this I-ness is coming from ego, I maker. And with it comes the minus. Minus causes the deep attachment. I-ness causes the ego, the idea of possessive, idea of identification that I am into anxiety, and that results into the six enemies of the mind: attachment, anxiety, duality, conflict, jealousy, hatred, etc. Oh, so default mind. You are a product of I-ness and my-ness. That is why you get impulsive. That is why we become reactive. Otherwise, there is no need to react. Think of it. Default mind is created by I-ness and my-ness. This is my car, this is the best car. My car, my-ness, my home, my body, my handsomeness, my beauty, my. Oh, my beauty? Oh, body is yours? You are living in such a guest house, you have to leave it. This is not yours. Who created? I have a body. Default mind works only, is created by I-ness and my-ness, and then, so we have understood this. So then the master says, let us go deeper. Now, what default Eastern wisdom is strengthening your conviction of the right knowledge. How? Incidental nature and essential nature. You have a stress, yes. Just an hour before, did you have a stress? No. So is it temporary? Yes. What is temporary? It's incidental. It comes then. If it has come, it will go. You are not born with the stress. You are not born with the anxiety. So this thought should be there at the time when you claim that you are disturbed. When you claim you are disturbed, then I should remember. Default mind makes you forget that. Either you say you are in anxiety or you are not. When you say you are in anxiety, it's a default mind, creation of the I-ness and my-ness, followed by the past impression and the impulsive nature. Or you are not in that, default mind is not there. In between we have Eastern wisdom. Our master says, find out the incidental nature. So even if you have a reaction and anxiety, don't worry about it. Just recognize. Recognize. It is an inner engineering. It is an inner technology. And I feel totally heaviness in the head. Heaviness in the head. It is because it is my head. That is why I have a problem. My head means I have identification. And I have an identification because that I, crazy I-ness and my-ness is there, which has created the default mind. It looks very beautiful. I am pure consciousness beyond name and form. No, don't keep that knowledge intellectual. Bring it down. But by these simple practices, simple steps, we can bring that realization into our life. And if I-ness and my-ness will dissolve, then only I can claim that I am pure consciousness. You cannot say I am body and I am pure consciousness. I am angry and I am pure consciousness. How it is possible? It means you want to say that, oh, consciousness also becomes angry. Consciousness is a property of anger and pleasure and duality and a conflict. The whole Eastern wisdom is washed away. There is no chance then. Do you see how simple what we are doing? We are trying to get a mental cognitive understanding by listening and learning and yes, you are right. If I say I am the body, I am the mind which has an anxiety, but I also know that I am consciousness, how it is possible? So I am the body, one I am the mind, second I am the consciousness, third eye. First you choose which I you are. So when you choose which I you are on the go. You have a cognitive, but you don't choose. You take it for granted that I'm the body and the mind, so I have a heaviness and I have an anxiety. Very subtle understanding, but when you sit down, repeat it, oh, you find out. So our masters in the Eastern wisdom always asks us listening and learning, contemplation and reflection. So what happens? By repeat practice in contemplation and reflection, even if the past impressions returns with a greater force, you remember, you recall, you have a cognitive understanding, it is gone. Then we become really a seeker. That is why our master says, who becomes a seeker? Who follows the discernment, dispassion, six treasures, and you have an intense desire. One way to understand. So we have to keep the holistic understanding. Many ways. I told you default mind is equal to I-ness plus minus. I told you incidental plus essential nature. Mind. To change that default mind to the discerning intellect, we should use these two reasoning, but third reasoning, unauthorized occupants of the mind. We are not born with anxiety, fear, duality, conflict. Even 2 years old, fearlessness is there. We fell down, we stand up. Now we fell down, we say, no, I cannot go to the office, no, I have a lot of problems. Is that sign of maturity? That is not the sign of maturity, that is a sign of craziness. 2 years, 3 years, until 5, 6, 7 years, we fell down, we stood up, oh, now let us continue to play. Blood is coming out and still we continue to play. So it means we know these are unauthorized occupants, unconsciously, subconsciously. But now we claim unauthorized occupants are the authorized occupants of the mind. Thought, feeling, emotions, anger, resentment, anxiety, worry, fear, duality, conflict. They enter, linger, dominate the mind without a conscious invitation, unwanted, unwelcome guest. Hijack our attention, energy, and a higher purpose. So now you see the clarity of understanding. Another understanding, default mind is necessary evil, yes. It was necessary at the time of the birth. We didn't know the language. We want food. We want to change the bed we cannot do by ourselves. Have you noticed that, all of our vegetarian animals who eat vegetables or vegetarian, their cubs, their kids, Their babies, they are born and they stand up and they become independent.
They smoke the milk.
But you see that the lioness has to take care for about 2 years, even though they both need milk, but almost 2 3 years they are trained. The deer baby is already trained. They stand up and they start jumping. There's a big difference, but that we will talk later. So, primary function of the default mind is survival, to generate automatic condition reaction based on our shape and the size and based on our past impression habit. It has to do it. Why? To so that I can survive. I should cry if I'm hungry. I don't know the language. But once the basic needs are met, we don't need that. But we continue with that. The master is saying, why you continue with that? Now, instead of default mind, we need a discerning intellect. And keep the default mind, emergency situation, they will continue with their reflex action. We need not to worry about it. But to allow this default mind in almost every activity, I don't have money, that is why I have a stress. Also, the dollar means that if you have dollars, no stress. If you have no dollars, that means the stress. What do you mean by it? Is there any sense? Answer is it's a nonsense. So that is how we have to use the discerning intellect to understand. No, I have a lot of problem with my honey. Yes, you problem with the honey because you think honey is a problem. You remove this thought and then there is no problem. Only the humans have this discerning ability. No other animals have this ability. We are not using it. Eastern wisdom says, Master says, why don't you use it? That makes me a seeker. And then we can go for a higher purpose in life. And there comes the Mangalacharan mantra in the very beginning. Master says, yes, you have to repeat this mantra every day in the morning until your default mind changes to the discerning intellect. Until you start feeling the same spontaneity as you had during your childhood. You have problems of wealth and finances, you have problems of relationship, everything. But when you wake up in the morning, you find discerning intellect puts you into that situation, that state of the mind. From that state of the mind, you deal with the problem. That is the meaning of cognitive understanding. That is the meaning of cognitive change. And then our default mind changes to the discerning mind or intellect, and it perceives incidental and essential nature. It is natural understanding. You understand naturally. But why we are putting a thought into your mind so that you can pick up that knowledge and you can use this. It happens to you. This is incidental. This is incidental. This is temporary. Okay. So if we closely analyze, we find prescription for progress, prescription for getting rid of my anxiety and duality is all about Shravan, Manan and Nididhyasa. You listen again and again. You contemplate and reflect. These principles settle into your mind. It changes your default mind. It is kind of a mental housekeeping. So your mental housekeeping every day, every moment, in every situation. Why the default mind has taken over our entire life. That is why our masters say you lead the mind or mind leads you. When the mind leads us, then what happens? Then that default mind is running its own program without your permission. Uninvited guest shows up, you have an automatic anxiety about a future event, you have a reaction, you have a fight. You never talk to the honey or anyone in order to go into anxiety reaction fighting. But it happens. So the default mind is running its own program. So the discerning intellect can immediately come and return, says, no, you cannot run your own program, let me check. And the moment you check, it is your discerning intellect. We never think, nobody, no, a common sense individual never thinks. Common sense people never ever think to enter into any conflict or reaction with anyone, but we do it with anyone. But it happens because the mind is running, the default mind, if I say the default mind is running its own program, its program without our permission. And that is why we say we have uninvited guests. That is why we say we have unauthorized occupants.
So we are obligated to realize prabha, but as I understand, prabha can be realized no conflict way.
Prarabdha, it will continue until all the past impressions are exhausted, but we can change the direction of the prarabdha. We cannot change the situation. You see that you have a situation in the business. That is your prarabdha. But because of your discerning intellect, you can change the direction. You can respond to that situation in a different way. You are married to a particular girl, prarabdha, but you can change your response so that you can mitigate prarabdha. You can minimize the impact of prarabdha, or you can increase if the prarabdha says is very good. You can increase the impact of it depending on the situation you are in. So that situation, you are placed in a situation with the people, with the business, with the individual, every day. That is your prarabdha. You have a particular house, that is your prarabdha. But how you do the housekeeping is your choice. Is your choice. The country I am born, the parents I am born with, it is prarabdha.
So everything what I cannot change.
Yeah, but obviously you can change the direction. You can change the direction. Yes, I will tell you, but we will talk. That's a different, very higher concept. By bhakti, you can even change the prarabdha. But we have to understand what exactly is bhakti. It's not easy to understand. Bhakti is a series of practices. There are 25 practices, if I say so. So simply saying bhakti is the loving relationship or just pray, no. That is not going to help us. So many masters says, yeah, bhakti, yes, you can change. So every day we meet the default mind or we meet the discerning intellect. So pay more attention that let me continue to live with the discerning intellect in every situation. So don't worry about what the prarabdha says. You live with the discerning intellect. That takes care of everything. You go to the office, you had a fight, you return home and you still are disturbed. You recognize it's act of default mind. Let me pick up the discerning intellect and change myself. So you have changed the prarabdha. You don't want that prarabdha to continue to exert the pressure on you, to put you down, to create more impressions, and ultimately you start living into the same state again and again and again. So when the something is being repeated again and again, not only situation is prarabdha, but default mind says, okay, let me repeat it. And there you have a discerning intellect, you change it. So there is a cognitive change, there is a cognitive understanding. And when that cognitive understanding takes care of you, you find the life changes. What is the tool? Tool is so simple. Anytime you become extraordinary aware, you notice whenever you are surrounded by any anxiety, reaction, duality, conflict. Don't start thinking, oh, what will I do? I have a prarabdha. This is what happens. My honey is responsible. She did not give me the breakfast, and that is why I am suffering. No, that is wrong decision. It means you are supporting prarabdha. You are creating more impressions. And that is going to not only create problems in your present life, but also in the future world. Situation, condition, relations. Next day, tomorrow, for example, you wake up, that situation, at the time to wake up, to have certain thoughts. Brother, I have a choice to change, to make it better, to minimize the impact or to remove it. That choice lies with me. That choice does not lie with animals. That is, they will remain, deer will remain the deer until they die. Lion will remain the. That is the problem. That is the biggest challenge. Until they become human being, then only they can have a free intellect. Then they can have a self-awareness. Then they can have a language. Then they can understand. Then they can love. Many people complain to the Eastern wisdom. Oh, don't you think that lion is? No, they are extremely intelligent, but they don't have free intellect. They will remain lion throughout their life. We are totally scared. We are full of anxiety. We can be totally free. That choice is not available with any animal. And we are still thinking and working like